Hello again. In this video, we'll be discussing about an immediately invoked function expression, also called as IIFE. An immediately invoked function expression is a way to execute functions immediately as soon as they are created or defined. Let's see immediately invoked function expression in action. Let's say you have a function display console.log, and in order to execute you use the function name and parentheses like this. And if you go and run it, we can see that normal function. This function you can call any number of times that you want. See normal function, normal function. Now I write another function here, function console.log, not a normal function. Now if you go and save it, you can see the error uncaught syntax error. Function statements require a function name. Normally we call it as a anonymous function because it is a function but it doesn't have any function name, just to have function keyword. But if you save it in a variable, let test equal to function and like this, now it doesn't give any error and it is become a function expression. So let's remove this. Now let us keep this entire function inside the parentheses. Anything that we keep inside this parentheses is become a expression. So now it is become a function expression. Now if you go and save it, you will not see any error. So now we have a function expression, we need to execute it. So how to execute it? To execute any function, we use the parentheses like this. So now do like this. Now go and save it. Now you can see not a normal function. And this is nothing but an immediately invoked function expression. So it is also called a immediately invoked function expression. So this is how we write the immediately invoked function expression. And the another important point about the IIFE is it doesn't pollute the global object and it isolates the variable declarations. Now we'll see what does it mean. Let's say you have a variable like this var age equal to 23, and if you go and access this outside of this IIFE, so I'll call it as so IIFE, what will happen? Console.log age. Now you can see that uncaught reference error age is not defined. So it is not attached to the global object. So it is not available outside of this IIFE. And this way you can achieve the encapsulation and isolation of the variable declaration. So data privacy and encapsulation are very important in any application programming language. And using this IIFE pattern, you can achieve the data encapsulation or data privacy. Not just the variables, you can declare the functions also inside this. You may say that you can do the same thing using the normal functions also, like this. And if you go and save it, still it is not accessible. You may say that, but this normal function will have the function name and this can be called any number of times you want. And also this normal function can be overwritten accidentally. And if it is the most useful way to achieve the data encapsulation. The way you pass the values as an input to any function, you can pass the values to the IIFE also. Let's say if you define a variable like here, let name equal to Janu. Let me comment this code, and you can pass here name and it can receive here console.log Janu. So this way you can pass the any value as a parameter to the IIFE. So not just the name, you can pass the, let's say, window object. If you want to pass, you can pass the window object also. And if you using the jQuery, and if you want to use that jQuery inside this immediately invoked function, even that also you can pass. Like you can just pass jQuery here. So now I have not referred the jQuery here, so it doesn't work. But normally you can pass, and also you can pass the object also. So anything you can pass here. You can see here. So using black scope that is introduced in the XCX, you can achieve this data privacy or encapsulation. Like block, let's say constant is local equal to true. If your access is local outside, you get error. Uncaught reference error. When you have the block like this, and if you use the constant or let, then it is confined to the this scope itself. But if you have the var like this, and if you go and save, you can still access this. Even though you have defined inside the block, you can still access the variables that are declared using the var keyword. So now you can see is local is accessible. Whereas age that you declared using the var keyword inside the IIFE is not accessible outside. So if you go and uncomment, you can see that error. So this is the difference between the block scope and an immediately invoked function expression. Use this an immediately invoked function expression pattern when you want to run the code only once and when you want to achieve the data privacy with the var keywords. So mostly nowadays we don't use the var, but if you want to use the var and have the data privacy, then you can go for an immediately invoked function. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.